Alright, it's time for another video here. Last few videos we've been dealing with errors uh, and the kinds of errors there may be, whether it's a visible error that's easy to spot in your code or an error that may not be so easy to spot, something that's uh, a problem for the compiler or a problem during runtime. We've also found many ways to spot the problems, commenting code out, or you can simply, if you already have a good code built in and stuff, you can copy the file and try to rewrite or add more to it or whatever and stuff in another file, or the copied file anyways. But yes, um, in this video and stuff, we're going to deal with, discover pretty much the last part of errors. With the vast amount of errors that are possible, it's can be quite challenging sometimes, especially when you got a problem with your program or code that you're writing and you cannot figure out what's going on or how to correct it. Uh, in my case and stuff, I mean, it's not so much errors, is morely just memorizing what things do in the code and then trying to decipher the code. Um, but I am getting there. I'm getting it down. I'm starting to understand it better and better the more I go through it on a daily basis. It's getting to be more second nature to me. So let's adjust this video here and get right into this. So C++ input validation. When using uh, when users enter data into a program, they might type something unexpected. Input validation makes sure the input is correct before the program continues. Okay, so that could be another problem right there. Not only is the programmer or the program or the code that you're putting into maybe a possible issue, but you need to also make sure that if the user puts some incorrect data into your program, um, it doesn't accept it. Or if it does accept it, it gives a response back that this is not an acceptable data to enter or whatnot. Without validation, your program might crash or behave incorrectly, and it will. If you're expecting a number and somebody puts in a letter or symbol, and it puts out the end result comes out to be a number, but not the correct number because of the ASC2 chart sort of thing. It translates whatever the symbol or letter value is into an actual value and then uses that for the number sort of thing. I think I've seen that before, but anyways, we got an example here. Validate integer input to make sure the user enters a number. If they enter something else like a letter, ask again. So let's go ahead and clear all this code out. This is the previous code we had for creating errors or uh, throwing codes that we would understand as a programmer and stuff for issues we were having with our program. But yeah, let's clear this out and get this example put into here. So let's see here. First we got int number and then output enter a number while not in character input number. Caught me off guard on that one again. Okay, so that's that. And we got a comment here we're going to go ahead and put in here. Keep asking until the user, I'm just going to keep it on one line here, enters a valid number. And curly brackets, and then standard output invalid input, try again. Okay, and then we got the input that we're asking for. And so something from previous videos to now is some of the colors have changed for some of the words I'm putting in here. And I'm pretty sure it's because of a VS Code update that recently happened. Clear. And this right here code, I guess, is meant to reset the input that the user put in. And then we got standard input dot ignore, which we've never discussed a couple of these words yet, so they might be a little bit foreign. They are to me a little bit anyways. Another comment here, remove bad input. Standard output you entered and then the number. Okay, so what it looks like is we have an integer set with a number here. We just got a declared number, or a declared integer, no value to it. Next, we got an output to where we want the user to enter a number. And then we got a while loop. While the input is not being because we have the exclamation mark, which is a symbol that indicates not in C++. But while the input is not a number, keep asking. Keep running this loop. Once the input that they enter is a number, I believe that makes it true to where we can jump out of the loop. Because when this is true, we flip it and make it false. So then it skips this right here. When this is actually a letter, that makes this false and switches it with the not to make it true, which means it goes through this loop right here. So that's one way you can use that symbol right there. It's still kind of confusing and stuff. As you can see, I stumbled upon it a little bit trying to explain that or decipher that. By the way, if this is the first time you're watching any of my videos, I don't educate on C++. I just share the journey of what I'm discovering and how I'm learning C++ myself. So, if you like these videos, hit the like button. If you have any comments or questions about what I'm doing here, feel free to ask them. If you would like to make a correction to something I said, you don't agree with what I said, or I said it incorrectly, that's fine. Just leave it in the comments there. I try to respond to them. So if this is false, which with the not, anything that's going to be a number is going to make this false because of the not. This part right here will be true with a number. This right here will make it false though, because it will reverse the Boolean value. But if this is false with the not value, it'll be true. Being true, it'll run into the next line of code right here, which is outputting in some text right there. It says invalid input, try again, making the user try it again. And then it clears out the input that they put in, meaning whatever value they stored right here is getting erased. And it ignores, and I'm not sure, like I said, this word right here and this word right here are both new to me. So I am not 100% sure what it does, but it looks like this one right here would clear the input, so clear the variable of any data in that slot. But the ignore part, I'm not sure. I'm not sure what that's doing. The comment here says it's removing bad input. So I'm not exactly sure what that's doing there. Oh, here we go with the yawning again. Sorry. So once this is becomes false, it skips to the next line right here and tells you what you entered. So at this point in time, we've got everything saved. We got everything put in there. Let's try it out. Make sure it works the way it's supposed to. Enter a number. I'll enter a number there. Hit enter, and it tells us what we entered. If we run it again, this time we hit A. Run it. It says invalid data. Try again. And at this point in time, you can literally keep putting information in, and it's going to continue printing out the same thing over and over, waiting for you to put an actual number in. Will it accept two-digit numbers? Yes, it will. Will it accept very large numbers? Let's go with 1,000. Yes, it will. Let's go a little larger than that. There's 1,000. There's 100,000. Yes, it will. Let's run it again. Let's see if it'll go even higher than that. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Yes, it will. That's 1 million, I believe, or 1 billion. Yeah, 1 billion. So, again, I'm not sure what this line right here is doing and stuff, but yes. So, if you want somebody to put something in, say an age, and they put a letter in, then you can kind of put this kind of code right here into it and stuff until they put an actual age in, and then you can do the whole thing and stuff to where with an if statement to where if they're old enough, um, so forth and so on. Sorry. I'm gonna be doing that for a while, I guess, again. I was doing some breathing exercises yesterday to try to improve that, but I haven't done it yet today. I've been doing a lot of errands and cleaning. You know, all the normal stuff that we all do. Okay, so we got the example results and stuff for different things you can try right there, which we've already done that. Validate number range. Check if the number is within the following range, 1 to 5. Okay, so we're going to kind of rewrite this code here. We're going to change this right here to choose instead of enter. You chose the number, but the while loop is going to completely change. In fact, the while loop and the question right there is going to completely change. So we're going to do a do loop. Do while loop, sorry. I believe that's what it's called. Output, choose a number between 1 and 5. Accept input number for a variable, and then go down one while, and then our little, is it statement or I think this is just supposed to be a Boolean value, but I was trying to remember that and stuff, just because I know we've been over this once before, and I was trying to determine if my memory is getting any better or not. I know my speech is not today, but I know my yawning is also not. We got a comment here. Keep asking till the user enters a number between 1 and 5. We need to see what we have over here. Okay. It looks like it. Here we go. Put some space in there. So we got a do while loop. We got an integer declared, and we got an output right here. This right here is simply kind of the same thing as two booleans being compared with a comparison operator there. If the number is less than 1, then that makes it false. Which then, in this case, since we got the or operator, one or the other is false, it makes the entire thing false. So if this one's false, it won't even check this one once it gets to this operator and realize that both of them have to be true in order for it to keep going. I believe, let's see. I'm trying to think of how that worked. So if this one is 0, makes this false. No, number is less than, do I have that in there right? Yeah, number is less than or number is greater than 5. Less than 1 but greater than 5. Alright. So it's going to do, if we remember right, in do while loops, and the way they're set up and stuff is it's going to run the do code once, at least. If the statement is false, the entire thing is false, it's going to run back through the loop again. I believe. Is that the case? You know what? I'm going to have to go back through it and study the do while loops again, just remember how that works. And I mean, I've just recently made a video on this and stuff not too long ago, but obviously I'm struggling with it. I even went through and did the whole, maybe that'll help. So with the AND operator, it has to be true and true to be true. Anything else is false. With the OR operator, anything is true except for if it's false and false. Okay, so I was trying to remember that whole idea. So with the AND operator right there, actually, sorry. Yeah, with the AND operator, which is the AND symbol, but two of them, two AND symbols, both sides of the expression have to be true in order for it to be a true total Boolean or expression. With the OR, both have to be false, false and false in order to be false. Otherwise, it's always true. Otherwise, always true. Same with this one. Otherwise, always false. So, and we'll put in that it's the, yeah, or slash that operator. And this one right here is the and, yep, which is this one, operator. Put a space right here, okay. So with the and or and operator, both sides have to be true in order for it to be true, otherwise it's false. With the or operator, both sides have to be false for it to be false, otherwise it's true. So in this case, and if it's true as we know, it goes on to the next line, and it'll come down to this line right here. So if whatever number is inputted in here, if it's a 0, 0 is less than 1, but it's not greater than 5. Therefore, the statement's true. 0 is less than 1, but not greater than 5. And since we're using the or, that makes it true. Let's go ahead and save this and see what this does here, because I'm not sure. I know they have one mistake in there. So the one mistake that they have, and this may not matter, but that's the first mistake that they have in this example right here. They have that right there. I put a space in there. And it's not really necessarily a mistake because the compiler is going to see it properly. So let's see. Let's choose 0 and see what happens. So it's asking for another one. Because that it was not 0 is less than 1, but it's not greater than 5. That makes it true, which means it has to keep running back into it again, right? Once it's false, it jumps out of the loop. We're going to have to we'll go ahead and put the 1 in there so in the program, clear the terminal out. Let's go up here and take a sneak peek real quick. The while loop. There's a section called do while. Condition is false from the start. In the example above, condition yes, yes, yes. In the example below, the variable 1 starts at 10. And while I is less than 5, if that's true, keep running. If it's false, jump out of the loop. Okay. So as long as one of these two is true, like this right here is stating down here, because I had to check that again. As long as one of these two is true, um, because what we're looking for is a false result to jump out of the loop. That's what we're looking for, is a false result. But in order for it to be false, both sides have to be false. So the number less than 1, well, 2 is not less than 1, 1 is not less than 1, 2 is not, so all those are true for this side. And if it becomes true for this side, false and false. Ah, man, I'm kind of lost and confusing myself on this, I think. Anyways, let's move on. We see the code right here. This just basically tells me and stuff that I still need to work on do while loops and this section right here to understand it better, because this should be clicking like that. It shouldn't be taking me this long to figure this out. And sitting here looking at it, confusing myself is not going to help the situation. The only way to improve upon it is to go back through the information again, which is what I did right here, but it's not helping because it's still not sticking in the memory. So let's go back down here because this is where we were. Validate range number. We got this in right here. So any number you put in there is not between 1 and 5 with the code that they have in here. It's going to keep running that loop until both sides are false. Once it's false, it's going to jump out of the loop. Anyways, validate text input. Check that a name is not empty. Okay, so we got another example here. And in this case, we're not going to be really using this down here, but I'm going to keep it down there anyways. We are going to be changing a couple things. Looks like we're going to be changing this right here to hello, comma there. And we're changing this right here to name. And we're going to be changing, it looks like, everything else from above that, including the variable and type. So this is going to be a standard string. Yeah, so the whole idea of why don't you sit there and study that so you get it memorized this time? Why does a deer sit there in the middle of the road consistently looking at headlights? It's stuck and it won't move. Same thing goes with this. If you leave yourself in one spot consistently over and over and try to get it memorized doing the same thing over and over, you're going to get stuck. You're going to start confusing yourself. Going back through the information again later on might help clear up what's going on. Move past it, look around, see it from a different angle, sort of thing. Otherwise, like I said, you're still a deer in staring at a set of headlights coming down a road. You're stuck. You're not going to move. Frozen in fear, sort of thing. Kind of analogies to go along with that. That's why I prefer, even if I'm lost or stuck, it's not going to do me any good to continuously try and study it and figure it out, because all I'm going to be doing is looking at the headlights and wondering what's going on. I am better off continuously moving forward, going back through it again later on in a different perspective, different mindset. So, looking at it at a different angle, which I got another source for that and stuff. That's why I keep just going through this over and over in a different way. Allows my mind to kind of clear up. So let's see, we got a standard string and a variable. We're going to do another do while loop here. Output. At least that's the way I see that scenario. If you stick with one thing over and over, you're stuck. You're not going to go anywhere. So yeah. So I don't tend to do that. I will let my mind clear up what the confusion and stuff and come back and look at it again later. So we have a standard output with some contents. We have a string type with a variable name declared. We got a do while loop right here. We're printing up standard get line, and it's going to be the input name, input of a name. Again, standard input of a name. Declare that. Come down here, add the while in there for the loop. Name dot empty. If it's empty, we're going to run the loop again. Keep asking until the user enters something. Name is not empty. Okay. Go ahead and save that. So in this case right here, like I said, we got a string type, variable name, all that declared, a do while loop, which means we're going to run this right here at least once. Enter a name, get line, whatever the name is. Well, why we have get line there? We haven't really discussed the whole get line thing, but that is because if they just enter one character, then the variable name only accepts one character, which can be the name. But if they enter 5 characters for their actual name, we want the entire thing as one character, as one input, not just one character. I'll demonstrate that here in a minute. So get line, whatever the input is, put it in for name. Here's another question for you. So normally when we have an input like this and stuff, we have it not so much a comma, and we have it like that. Do you think that'll work as well? In this case, no. Parameters seem to always be the same way no matter what. The type, in this case, it's an input and a variable name. And I'm pretty sure that's what this is a parameter setup. But again, we haven't discussed getLine yet, so this may be a little foreign. I know it's foreign to me. We also haven't discussed empty yet, so that is also a little bit foreign to me. But I do know that we're going down to this while loop. This is all going to run. I'm going down to the while loop, and if there's nothing inputted in there, then that makes this statement false or true. And we're going to run the loop again, asking for something. So you can keep hitting enter, and it's going to keep asking the same question over and over. So we got the question, enter your name, enter, try again, enter, try again, enter, try again. Downside about this is we don't have any parameters set up for what's acceptable. So we can enter 1, and it will accept 1. You would have to add in the whole idea of it can't be numbers, symbols, etc., into the code. But we can run the code over again and actually put in a name, and it will actually print out the name. But it will also print out other things too, because we don't have anything in there to give it its limitations. All right, moving on. So we've done, uh, this is the last section of the errors. So we've gone through different types of errors. Let me just do a summary real quick. Common compile time errors, common runtime errors, good habits to avoid, uh, so you don't have errors, debugging, checking variable types, commenting out code. I mean, there's all kinds of exceptional handling, which was the next section right here. Uh, Having your code actually print out error messages and stuff so you know exactly what the error is, sort of thing. Real life checks on that. And that's for most of the time when a user puts information that's incorrect, it's going to print out an error. Because not only is it the programmer that can put the errors in there and stuff and not even see them, or the errors not even show up and you have to figure out what's going on, why it's not giving the right thing, which is why you run your program several times over and stuff to make sure it does exactly what you wanted it to do. But if a user puts information in there, even though your program's doing what it was supposed to do, and they put invalid information in that's not what you're looking for, um, you may have to change the code around so that it creates a response or throws a code saying, error, this is not an actual name, this is not an actual number, so forth, so on. And then we had the input validation, which is actually doing a lot of that for us. So you can have the error thrown and have it do a while loop. I mean, mix and match your do whiles, your if statements, else, all kinds of options there. All right, moving on. Now we're going to get into data structures. Um, this is a kind of a big one right here, it looks like, but we have a list of data structures and we're going to go through this. I'm not sure if I actually went through this in W3 Schools before. By the way, if you are new to my videos, I have VS Code over here on the left, W3 Schools on the right. If you need to know how to do any of this to start writing code, put it in the comments there. Either I can try to answer them if I know enough about it. Got like 3 to 6 months worth of experience writing code, so I don't have a whole lot. I'm still learning C++. I'm just sharing the journey of me learning it. But I can try to, if somebody else might be able to do it, I can maybe even point you in a direction where you can get your answers. Um, yeah, we're gonna cut the video off right there. When we come back, we're gonna pick up with C++ data structures and STL. Just to be clear, just in case I don't mention it in the next video, STL stands for Standard Library, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. Actually, it says right here, Standard Template Library, sorry. All right, that'll be it for this video, and I'll catch you in the next video.